to episode 57 of TerrorVision horror podcast, Splatter Chatter. Yes, Splatter Chatter with Dan and Jennifer. I am one of your hosts, Jennifer Strand, and joining me is our very own limb collector, Dan McGuinness.
Thank you for letting me come.
Anytime. Splatter Chatter is a new bi-weekly trial installation to the TerrorVision programming, where we will talk about what's new, more than likely, what has caught our attention in the world of horror, including video games, comics, movies, collectibles, and so on.
Etc, etc. It's just anything horror. Horror, as I like to call it.
Horror.
The horrors.
Yeah. So this is where we've now moved our fun facts about ourselves so that you can learn a little bit more about us and what we're consuming. Dan, what's your fun fact for the week?
My fun fact is that this week I skated, as a 43-year-old man, I skated 2 days this week and I am now unable to move properly. I've had to have 2 Radox baths.
Yep.
My mouth, all of them seized up, my hips, my back. I'm just like I've had to watch YouTube videos on loosening up hips and ankles and shit. And yeah, but I had the best fucking skates. It was so fun.
Honestly, every time I saw on the Instagrams that you were out for a skate, I was so happy because all you've wanted to do is go skating and you haven't been able to do it, but you finally went to go and twice. And twice in 1 week.
When it rains, it pours. I also had someone this morning message me going, let's go for a skate. I'm like, I can't. I'm sorry.
My body. It hurts.
My body.
I love that. Well, my fun fact for the week is I've started weight training.
What does that mean?
So I'm kind of in this point at the moment where my body is messed up. My body's messed up. So I have chronic back pain, shoulder pain, just chronic pain.
Man, we're just all painies.
It's true. So I've been going to the gym. I've been trying to lose weight and I've now sort of started doing weights. So weights is meant to, I'm not going to get like swole, but I'd like to get fit, and doing some weight training is actually going to help with the pain in my back, apparently.
Yeah, definitely. Like all the muscles and shit like help with all that stuff. Like you'd be more powerful to hold your fucking body together, I assume. I'm no like fucking PT expert.
I don't know. So...
I'm not a playable teaser. I'm not an endless hallway.
You could be. I don't know.
Did you ever play PT demo?
I did, yeah, and I was like really mad about it.
Did you get to the end?
No, because I was just like, I'm walking down a fucking hole. I'm still in the hole. Nothing's happened. I'm going to bed now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I love that idea of the repeating hallway and just like Junji Ito wrote created the baby in the sink. You probably never even got to that.
No, I didn't see a baby in the sink.
Yeah.
But you had me at Junji Ito.
Yeah, exactly. Junge,
old mate Junjo.
Junge cast.
So anyway, like we say, we're going to head into a few different categories of things that have piqued our interest this week. And of course, we're going to start with video games.
Because it's E3 week.
It is E3 week.
Remember E3?
I just remember that all these games get announced and I get customers going, do you have this game in?
Yeah.
I'm like, you mean the one that was announced like half an hour ago? No, I don't.
The one that's not even created yet? Yeah, I get a lot of that in the comic shop with people just like a creator announces on their website that they're doing something and they're like, yeah, that's not out for like 6 months, I'm sorry.
Yeah, pretty much, but that's okay. So the first game that has piqued both of our interest is Evil Dead.
It's called The Evil Dead, isn't it? Or it's called The Evil Dead Game?
Yeah.
Is its official title?
Something along those lines.
This looks great.
It does look great. So the synopsis for that one is step into the shoes of Ash Williams or his friends from the iconic Evil Dead franchise and work together in a game loaded with over-the-top co-op and PvP multiplayer action. Play as a team of 4 survivors, exploring, looting, managing your fear, and finding key items to seal the breach between worlds in a game inspired by all 3 original Evil Dead films. They really wanted to say that this remake has nothing to do with it. Fuck you. I'm fine with that.
But nothing to do with what?
So they really make it clear. It's the 3 movies and the Star's original Ash vs. Evil Dead series, but not the remake. Fuck the remake.
Oh, yeah, the remake.
Yeah.
It's the TV show as well, yeah.
Yeah, so they announced and they've just released a trailer like a week or 2 ago.
This is like my dream game.
Good. Yeah.
This is like, I've told you my dream game about like having to kill demons and like they take heaps to kill and stuff like that. But this is like, you've got everyone in it. You've got like Henry the Red from Evil Dead 3 as a playable character. You got like Linda
Yes.
From Evil Dead and stuff like that. You can play all the characters.
You can be Pablo.
Pablo, yeah.
Pablo.
Obviously, you're going to be able to play them.
Yeah, that's fine.
But,
I like that.
And then you've got that whole thing. Because it's just that whole thing of the 4. I don't know if it's going to be a wave kind of thing or if there's going to be a storyline.
Yeah.
Or, if it's just going to be like, what are they called? Like lobby matches where you just load into a level, you play it and that's the end and there's no actual progression through a storyline, which I kind of don't want. I want it to just be a game.
Yeah, so...
with 4 people in it that you just go through. Like Halo 3, you can just play the game with multiple people.
Yeah.
But it won't be.
For the 2 other games that we will chat about, that's my biggest thing. Like, all these games are getting announced and I'm getting so excited. I'm like, fuck yeah, finally some games. Oh no, it's online. It's online co-op. I don't play games very often, and I certainly don't play games online with people who are mean to me.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I suck at gaming.
Yeah, I mean, there is a time and place for that, but I will only dip my toe into Battlefield.
Yeah,
okay. I will only, the online gaming experience because I just don't need that much online gaming.
No.
And stuff like that. But, I'm not sure who made this Evil Dead game, but man, the graphics look great.
It does look really good.
Is it like a next-gen console exclusive? So it's not going to be one of those, ones where they just jazz up the graphics? I always get disappointed with that shit.
No, I think it's coming to all consoles. I don't think it's going to be... So it's definitely coming to Xbox. It's going to be on the Switch.
What?
Yeah.
That means it might be rubbish because they have to tone it down so the Switch can handle it.
Quite possibly. So PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch, and of course PC.
And of course, you can play, when you die in the game, you come back as the bad guys. This is the Kandarian demons.
Yeah, that would be good.
And I like Ash in the trailer. He's like narrating, hi, I'm Bruce Campbell. Like, just being himself.
Yeah.
And he's just like, or you can come back as a demon if you're a dick. And then he says it again later on. He goes, well, maybe you want to do this, but that'll make you a dick.
Hey, he knows what he wants. I'm not 100% sure who's actually producing the game. I know that it is definitely like a Warner... no, not Warner.
Warner Brothers?
MGM. So MGM, Lionsgate Films. So it's all these movie companies come together. I don't see any big name.
It might be a hot mess.
Game producing.
It might be one of those things where the lobbies don't work, matchmaking fucks up and shit. And they might, just don't put that in there. At the moment, I'm playing the Outlanders, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And I'm just playing it by myself. But one of the big Xbox, I'm playing on Xbox. One of the main things about it is it has you can pause your games at any time, load up another game, and it's still got that one loaded in the background, and then you can come in and switch between the games. It's that game doesn't do it because as soon as you go to something else or put your console into sleep mode, it just logs you out of the game because it has to be online the whole time, even if you're just playing one player. And I'm like, there's no option to be offline and play it.
Yeah.
Because it's got a full story. It's got a Gears of War story that you narrate through in some slight open worldness. But there is a core story. I'm just like, just let me play offline by myself. I don't need any of these other turkeys. And I don't mind if it has to be online, but don't log me out of the game every time I swap programs and stuff like that. It's just oh, you cunts.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope Evil Dead doesn't do that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. What's the release? I didn't even see a release date for it. I think it's coming next year, but I could be wrong. I probably am wrong.
That's having there's the being able to walk. I mean, I've walked around before in video games, the cabin. It shows the tool shed. It shows a couple of other locations from other films and stuff. Obviously, you're going to go to the castle, and there'll be the hole that you might be able to kick dudes down into. Remember the hole from Evil Dead 3 at the start?
Yes, please. Yeah. Well, we'll definitely be keeping a very, very close watch on this, and I'm pretty certain, unless it is online only, we'll both be grabbing a copy.
Yeah.
So maybe we could do some co-op.
I think. Oh no, that's not. It might be a Game Pass game. No, it won't be.
That would be great. If we can do some, we can play together. Yeah,
and then they announced Back for Blood. Now, I'm a massive... God. Do you notice I didn't mention Left 4 Dead in that last...
I know, and I know why.
Why?
Because we're going to be talking about Back for Blood.
Yeah. So the creators of Left 4 Dead have made Back for Blood.
Yes.
You have to have a 4 in there because you have 4 players.
That's right.
And it's basically... It just looks like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, so you are at the center of a war against the Ridden. These once human hosts of a deadly parasite have turned into terrifying creatures bent on devouring what remains of civilization. With humanity's extinction on the line, it's up to you and your friends to take the fight to the enemy, eradicate the Ridden, and reclaim the world.
Or just get into a lobby match and just do one round with your friends.
That too. So this is also coming to all consoles except for the Switch and on PC.
Don't get me wrong, I love my Switch, but like not every game has to go to it because it doesn't run on it. That Immortal Phoenix Rising was ass.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this
on
is...
the Switch. On the Switch. It was a great game, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. So this is a co-op first-person shooter. I was watching the gameplay and I was kind of under the impression that I was going to be playing the demons, and now that I found out that I probably won't be, I'm slightly disappointed.
No, you do.
Yes!
But that's not the that's like that's a PvP kind of thing.
Yeah, so that would be like what they did with Doom Eternal. You could go through and do the matches and you could play as the demons. So
I think they might have done that in Left 4 Dead, like back in the day. I can't remember. The thing I loved about Left 4 Dead is like, and I've told this story before, I think, where like it was so violent, it was amazing. It was gory, there was intestines everywhere. You know, I imported an uncensored copy from America. Mm-hmm. I got a letter from the government saying, do not do this. We'll arrest you if you do it again. I immediately ordered another copy and got it.
Yeah.
And yeah, the gore in it was amazing. I'm just not seeing the amount of level of gore in this Back 4 Blood. I'm seeing like some limbs coming off and stuff, but no like chunks out of shoulders, no intestines flying around. And I need... Like, if you're doing a game that's all about, like, killing zombies or in Ridden and shit like that, you need shit to go everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I hate disappearing bodies. That's my big thing.
You want a pile.
Yeah, I hate, like, you know, when they do it and it goes like, and it's, like, fades away or it burns away. No, I want to have, like, at the end, maybe they're going, with, like, fucking piles of the corpses around me. I want all the blood up the walls. Yeah. I want gauze hanging off the fucking intestines off the lights.
Yep.
I want it everywhere. And, like, you got these next-gen consoles. You can do that. Like, they could nearly do that in Left 4 Dead, and that was, like, fucking 10 years ago?
Yeah, it's a while.
Like, this game should be, like, the goriest thing. You should be, like, stripping skin off of things when you hit it with shotguns and different... Like, Doom did it.
Well, this is why I love Doom so much.
Same
because,
here.
like, I don't play games very often, and I don't necessarily need a long linear story where everything's super important. I just want to listen to fucking heavy metal and shoot a bunch of shit.
What happened to, like, having great graphics?
Yeah.
What happened to, like, innovating in the gore of just, like... Well, Doom is doing it. Doom is the only one that's done it, in my opinion. I mean, we had stuff early on and stuff like Soldier of Fortune was, like, this game, and they really went with the fucking, like, entry and exit wound shit and, like, full gore. And, of course, that attracted every school shooter in the world wanted to play it. But yeah, I just want a game that's just like, let's make a fucking gory game. And that's what they do with Left 4 Dead. And I don't know. I just want it again. Yeah. I want Left 4 Dead with next-gen graphics.
Yeah. Well, maybe if they find that Back 4 Blood doesn't do... because there will be a lot of people that are super nostalgic for the Left 4 Dead games. And maybe they'll find that if this game doesn't quite hold up, because every person like you is going to be, like, you know, holding this to that kind of level, maybe that will prompt them to maybe make the Left 4 Dead.
It's also hard. There are so many clones of... I mean, like Left 4 Dead, don't get me wrong, that was, like, I think the first of that kind of game I saw. You're the 4 people, you kind of do an area, you get to the safe room, you load up all your shit again, and you have to share resources.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And then they did it with that, like, zombie army game and all stuff like that. And there's a million of them now. So Back 4 Blood, big call. They're the creators of the genre, if you will. The genre, they got to come out with something, you know, they got to pop an erection out of those jeans and, like, smash everyone's faces with it.
Well, I mean, look, I watched, because I honestly don't really care too much for E3. Like, it's not usually on my radar. They did obviously announce a lot of horror games this year, and I think the other one that... So aside from Redfall, which we will talk about in a second, the other one was Somerville. That was...
I didn't know that one.
Somerville, I didn't catch the name properly. Even Kojima, he's just like, hello, this game is going to be fantastic. It looks really cool.
Here's Norman Reedus getting in a box.
That's right. So it's basically by the people that did, what's the little inside one, and Limbo?
Oh, yeah.
So
is that what their new one is?
Same creators, that kind of thing. It looks quite good. It's got the cute soundtrack. It's kind of ominous, but I feel that you're going to like that. Obviously, they've announced Dying Light 2, which everyone else is very excited for, vampires and whatnot. But everything else is kind of like weird indie kind of horror games that aren't as
I actually think Somerville looks a bit too... I remember what it is now. It looked a bit too much like Limbo.
Yeah.
But I feel Inside had a really good vibe to it and stuff. And then there's also Little Nightmares, which is... I love that game as well.
Everyone really likes that.
But yeah, I loved Inside. That's a game, like, no dialogue, no nothing, complex story, like, if you want to read into it, kind of thing. And then
is that the
very
black and
horror.
White one?
What?
Is that the black and white
No,
one?
that's
where
Limbo.
Okay.
Inside is, like, the colour one that they did, and in the end, it ends up being quite a gruesome ending, like, pretty crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, Dying Light 2's coming out, and I fucking really want that, but I don't think that's a next-gen console game.
No, I don't think it is.
Oh my
I
God.
don't think...
They waited so long. You know how long this game's been coming out? It's in developer hell, I reckon.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching all these like videos on it. It looks great.
Yeah.
And there's gore, and it's in the light time. I always like a gore game in the daytime. I
want to see the gore.
Yeah, same here. I don't want to see like... They're my favourite bits, in light, beautiful lit areas and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, I've got Dying Light on the pile. So I will be introducing a segment probably in the next episode called The Pile. So it's all the things that I have piled up to read, to watch, to play, to listen to. And that is on the pile.
What do they call it? Your pile of shame.
Yeah, it's quite large.
But also I've been getting into recently is watching... I haven't been playing, but I've been watching online videos of that Brutal Doom. Like the mod. I sent you one ages ago. So some people have
yeah.
People have gone through and they've taken the original Doom, as in like Doom, and brutalized it up, like as in like it's still the same pixel graphics and that, but they've redone the weapons. So all the weapons are like the Duke Nukem weapons are in there, just new weapons, heaps of weapons, and the game itself is like you can only play it in like fucking the hardest setting possible. But they've just gone with the gore. So as an example, if you're shooting at like in Doom, if you shot someone, you had blood splats come up on them, and they went and they fell down. In this one, like you shoot and they die, and they keep getting hit, and gore chunks come off of them, like all new pixel animation, and then they'll be on the ground like dying, and their arm will be off, and then you go up and you shoot them, and they explode. Their head comes off. So they've just gone ham with the gore. Nothing disappears in this game.
Yes.
And like the blood splatters go all up the wall. There's like chunks of animated pixel flesh just dripping, like blopping onto the ground, running down the walls. And they've like set up scenes where there's so many guys that you'll just do shit like and you've got grenades now and shit, which you never had in.
Yeah.
You can throw grenades in the room, and it's just like an actual like 10 people have exploded in this room, and there's actual intestines everywhere and shit. I'm like, this is a pixel game, and they got it right. Like, I want them to bring out Brutal Doom.
Yep.
As a console game, like
they might,
because it's just a mod for Doom, and you can look up and down. I want to play that game. It's just like a Steam game, but I don't want to play it on Steam. I want to play it on console. I want them to bring it out.
Yeah, there's so many games that I have interest in, and then I find out that it's only on Steam, and
you're like,
I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do that.
You know, Steam's like, you can just put your fucking... if you ignore your PC and you plug your PC into a TV and use an Xbox controller, it basically is just an Xbox, eh?
Interesting.
Like, because you can just play... You can use an Xbox controller on Steam.
Yeah.
For most games. You might have to do a bit of fiddle-whittles.
Because I can't play...
Because it's Microsoft. It's the same fucking thing.
That's true. Because I can't play this keyboard business. I've got a laptop.
No, you could just... If it's got Bluetooth, you can just use an Xbox One controller.
I do have Bluetooth.
Do you have Xbox One controllers at your work?
Yes.
Just take one home.
Pretty certain I got them at my house.
Oh, yeah.
Because Liz is an Xbox person.
Yeah, so you can just play it on computer with a console. And then you can just... with that you can just... like your laptop, you could just... mirror the thing onto the TV. Yeah.
All right.
And you can play it like a console.
Fuck yeah.
Lots of people don't know that. It's such a thing that PCs do.
This could open me up to a whole new world of being able to game instead of complaining about not being able to game.
That you would have access to Liz's Game Pass on your PC. You just have to log in with her Game Pass. It's the same thing.
Son of a bitch.
And all those games are available to you for free.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Get all over it,
See, this is why I don't know these things, because I don't play games that often. But anyway, the last game that we're going to talk about is, of course, Redfall. So
is it Red-Fall or just Redfall?
I think it's just called Redfall.
Redfall.
So the quaint island town of Redfall, Massachusetts, is under siege by a legion of vampires who have blocked out the sun and cut the island off from the outside world. Trapped with a handful of survivors against diabolical enemies threatening to bleed the town dry, you can choose your hero from a diverse roster, very diverse roster, grouping up with others to create the perfect team of vampire slayers. This game is 100% coming to Game Pass in 2022 on PC, Xbox Series X. So this is a pure
next-gen game.
Because it's Bethesda.
Which I'm fucking...
Well, it's Bethesda.
Yeah, well, I'm just missing these pure next-gen games. I don't want... so I played... I've been playing, I haven't got into the Dark Souls remake, but yeah, I want to play that. But I just want games. I've bought these next-gen consoles. I've got both of them.
Yeah.
I just want games that only you can play on that no other turds playing on their fucking Xbox diddly sticks. And I know that sounds weird, but
no, I mean, obviously,
they put $2,000 into consoles, and I'm playing other games I played on my console before.
Exactly. So, I guess it would be frustrating. I've paid all this money for something that. But I mean, I was looking up the prices for Back 4 Blood the other day to do some ordering, and I'm like, I'm gonna hold out on that. So it's a significant price difference for physical media. So it's like $99 for PS4 and
that's cheap for PS4.
Xbox.
PS4 is usually $125 now for PS5 games.
PS5 Yeah, PS5 is $149.
Oh,
so the next gen.
Forg.
Yeah, the next gen console is $149. That is obviously the recommended retail places.
There's always the first week bargains you can get into.
Oh yeah, JB Hi-Fi and Big W and all that.
Harvey Norman's the best.
Yeah, Harvey Norman are pretty
Their
good.
first week for games, they will no matter what, they say, if you can see it cheaper, we'll do it cheaper. So if you can go up anywhere, we're just here's this is how much it is here. They're like, cool, I'll make it cheaper than that. They don't care. They're Harvey Norman.
Well, they don't.
They laugh in the face of Corona.
They're going to go sell a bunch of fridges and some furniture, some flooring, because the fucking markup on flooring's insane.
Markup on cables is apparently where they make everything. JB Hi-Fi. My JB Hi-Fi friends have said, they charge you $100 for a cable. They buy it for $1.
Well, it's like when you go to the cinema, they don't make any money on the ticket sales. All the money made is at the candy bar. Because it costs 5 cents to make a large Coke.
Yeah.
And they're selling that to you for $10.
2010.
Oh my God. So much
money.
Redfall. So Redfall. It's an open world co-op first player shooter.
Is this another Left 4 Dead clone, it looks like?
Quite possibly. The trailer looks amazing. I think it's the girl from Deadpool. The Diablo girl?
Oh, really? Have they modelled it on her as well?
I think I'd have to look into that. But yeah, so it looks fantastic.
Domino,
thank you.
Diablo.
Anything where you've got that sort of neon lighting for me is, I just yeah.
Yeah, so this game has it's a horror game.
Yeah.
So it's basically instead of zombies, you're killing vampires.
Yes.
But they've gone wazoo with the style.
Yeah.
It still looks like a good graphic game. So it's not stylistic graphics, it's the style within itself. So yeah, neon, everyone's fucking heaps cooler than me. As I said, a diverse cast. And I just like the idea of a diverse cast is that there's no white people in this game and I'm loving it.
That's fine.
Yeah, fuck off whiteys.
Yeah.
And I'm a white racist. I'm no. I'm a racist towards whites, not a white racist. Shit.
Dan loves people.
Yeah. But I like that every character. So it's clearly not set in reality. There's magic. One of the girls has a magic elevator. She can appear that is basically like a doom jump, or a quake jump, not doom, quake. So she's got that, and she's got magic and stuff. There's some very cool. So there's this 5-minute kind of non-gameplay trailer they've put out of this, so we don't know what it's going to look like.
I like a non-gameplay trailer as well.
Really? I don't. I want to see what the game looks like.
Look, I do want to see gameplay, but that's later. You enticed me with your trailer first. if I like it, I'll go look at your gameplay. But even then, I'm like, yeah, I just want to shoot some stuff. I'm just happy to be here, guys.
Yeah.
So,
But she's doing stuff like real cool stuff, like, you know, she's got purple floaty magic. She's like loading a gun with magic, so like, you know, the bullets are floating in the air and going into the gun and shit. And I assume one of them's got like a cloaking device and a fucking big bird.
yeah.
I didn't see what the other characters had as
No, I think they're kind of just going to tease
maybe
a
they'll
few.
yeah.
Because looking at their website, they've got a lot of the under wraps kind of thing as well. So it's like, oh, here are the playable, but you don't know about this one yet. So
you don't know that.
That's a little bit later.
It doesn't look very gory.
It doesn't, and I think that Bethesda, because is this the first game, once again, I don't follow it too closely, but is this the first game Bethesda are really releasing for the next-gen console? Because obviously...
Well, they haven't really been releasing anything because they're part of Game Pass. So everything they make comes out on there. So, yeah, this might be their first pure next-gen game.
They've got to go hard. They got to make sure that this is like...
Fucking the Monster Squad. It reminded me of the Monster Squad.
Yeah.
You got the coolness, vampires, like... Imagine they made a Monster Squad game like that Evil Dead one. You'd be like, Rudy. Anyone, you just have a team of 5 Rudies. And that's like, because none of the other characters are worth playing.
Oh, that would be, that would be fantastic. I think that should happen. But yeah, so I think Bethesda really need to go hard on this because I don't think they've quite recovered from the mess that was Fallout 76.
Yeah, that was a mess, wasn't it?
I didn't hate it that bad, but...
I didn't hate it, but I had this weird love for it. They did the redo of it recently, like where it was like, you know, a 50 gig or whatever like update, which is basically a whole new game.
Yeah.
And I played it, and it just doesn't have that. I don't know. It just seemed like everything is really sparse in it, like real far apart, and you don't feel like you're ever. Everything is like behind stuff that you can't get. Where in the normal Fallout, you're like, okay, I'm going to build up this area and that, and you knew what you had to do. You can go do this and that. And this is like, go collect 7 flowers.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my god, I just wanted
to go see Mothman because there's that whole segment where you travel and you do the things and you get to meet Mothman, and I just never quite got it. And then me being me, I'm like, fuck this, I'm not playing this game anymore.
And there was lots of bits where like you died and it really like you lost stuff or something like that. Like it was just. It didn't feel very Fallout-y to me. But, I mean, it was Fallout and it was really interesting. I really wanted to like investigate these areas, but I don't fucking do camp building. I don't do crafting.
No, I don't want to do that. Like if I have to craft something bigger and better in a game, because that's what I didn't like about what was the one where he was the journalist dead for, I don't know, he's the journalist going over to fight the zombies.
Dead Rising.
Dead Rising, thank you. Because then I've got a craft weapon. I don't want to do
that. Oh, yeah, but that was a bit easier.
I don't want...
Yeah, I don't want
to work hard. Okay.
I like in that Outriders when you want to update your weapons, you just go in and there's like level up weapon and it's like done. It's a button. And like, you
that's
get it.
What I want.
Yeah, as you go through the game, you collect resources without knowing it. And if you look and then you're like, I don't have enough yet, I better play a bit more. That's all you have to do. I'm like, that's what I want. I don't want to have to sit there and like fucking work out what spring pushes a bullet out faster or some shit like that. I just want a button that levels it up.
Yeah.
And it just goes to the next level. And I don't have to do any micromanaging. I hate micromanaging in games.
That's what I liked about Maneater is like, you now can level up.
Which fucking came up on Game Pass like 2 weeks after I bought it.
No. Well, there's new DLC for that, and I'm really keen to play it because it's like now they put a conspiracy theorist in it, and I'm like, yes, please.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, look, we'll probably just keep an eye on all of these things. I don't have a new gen console, so
I've got them all. So I will
be playing.
I mean, if they're on Game Pass, I'll be all. You'll be hearing from
You're all over it.
Let's move into what we've been watching.
Yes,
as in not the film that we watched for the podcast. This is just other shit we've been looking at.
Exactly. So Dan, you were very excited because what did you watch this week?
What have I watched?
Well, you watched Willy's Wonderland.
Oh, Willy's Wonderland. Yes, it's not in order.
I know. Well, you said what we were watching. Yeah. We haven't watched this new movie
I watched the Nicolas Cage film Willy's Wonderland.
It's so good.
It is pretty good, Like, I wish it could have had there was something missing in it to make it a wicked film.
Yeah.
There was just something not there. So we got... This is going to be a bit spoilery, this part of this. So if you don't want to know about bits and bobs, Just fuck off. Yeah, so Willy's Wonderland, you got Nicolas Cage. He gets tricked into basically working a night in this Willy's Wonderland place to clean it up, which is an old, like, birthday.
It's like a Chuck E. Cheese kind of establishment.
Yeah. So and then, of course, the robots are evil, a la Five Nights at Freddy's. What gives this film its thing is that Nicolas Cage's character is vastly overpowered compared to the monsters.
Yes.
And so they're all like, you think it's going to be this horror movie, and it is a horror movie. So you've got the stereotypical group of people that are cannon fodder, but he is this immortal, speechless character. He doesn't no dialogue.
He does not say anything.
No dialogue in the whole film.
Yeah.
And you get and it's funny because he gets hired to clean this place, which is a trick. So he's a sacrifice.
Yes.
But he got hired to do a job, and he's fucking gonna do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if there's monsters. He is gonna clean this
He does
place
not
because
care.
he has made a deal, and men keep their deals. He's like this cool guy with a leather jacket. He looks a bit weird because he's getting old, cagey.
The hair and...
Yeah, no hairs and stuff like that.
I really want one of the Willy's Wonderland t-shirts. And as soon as I watched the film, so I watched it when it first came out, and I immediately jumped on
Goggled
the
it.
website, and I'm like, t-shirt, sold out immediately. And I'm like, oh man, they've sold out. And Liz just turns and she's like, yeah, I know. As soon as the movie started, I figured you'd want a shirt, and I looked it up. And they were sold out immediately. So
Yeah, right.
someone will pick it up eventually.
But yeah, you get this gore of like these cannon fodder kids that are, and there's this whole other storyline going
Yeah.
through it. There's a ritual and the town's fucked, and
Yeah.
there's some funny characters in there and stuff like that. But yeah, what makes it so interesting is that Nicolas Cage's character he's not in a horror movie in his opinion. He's just there to fucking
He's
clean.
just there.
He sets his own little break times, and like no matter what is happening in the film, if his alarm goes off on his watch, he just stops whatever he's doing and goes and sits down and has a soda, even if it's in the middle of a fight, even if it's at the expense of someone's death.
Yeah.
He will just sit down, have his soda, and play his pinball machine.
Well, I feel that is very much how most retail workers are nowadays. It's like, I see there's a line of people behind me. No, I'm on break now. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
But yeah, I haven't actually looked in to see who made this or anything like that. Just like,
That's all right.
it was just something to watch. And if you enjoyed like Five Nights at Freddy's game, what's that other one? The other one about the killer things?
Oh, well, I was saying that this was very similar to the Banana Splits movie.
Banana Splits movie, yeah.
Which I also 100% recommend everyone check out. Because Banana Splits was a big thing in the 60s. It was like an animated series. And a lot of people didn't realize that, which is fantastic. Because then they're just like, people that have either loved this show growing up and are now traumatized by this horror film, or people that have no idea what it is.
Yeah, it's like the rebirth of Meg and Mog. Do you know them?
I remember Meg and Mog.
Meg and Mog were like the kids thing, and now they're like this high, full-on adult, like by the same creator.
Really?
So yeah, we've got the comics. They're called like One More Year Amsterdam, and Meg and Mog and Wolfman and another character I can't remember. They all live in an apartment, and they're just like low socioeconomic, drug-taking, orgy people that like, and it's really sad and it gets really serious. But there's like, there's fucking dicks in it. There's like, it's like every taboo's in these comics, and it's just the original Meg and Mog characters.
Oh my God.
I should show you them to them.
Yeah.
You look them up, like,
yeah,
the whole bunch of them, like. Oh man, they're so heavy, eh? They're in our alternative section, way away from children.
Yeah,
and they're, whew.
Okay, I'm gonna look into that.
He's about to bring out a new one called Crisis Zone, which he did. The creator did while he was in lockdown in America, and apparently it's horror. Like it's just like
okay, yes, please, more of that.
Comics, everyone. Megan Mogg, ask for them by name.
I love it. So I also checked out,
and he's Australian, that guy.
Even better.
Yeah,
good old Aussies. Except for ScoMo. So I checked out The Unholy. So you guys were nice enough to give me tickets to go see the movie.
My shop.
Your shop,
yep.
Yes, Greenlight Comics. And I was unable to attend, A, because it was at a ridiculous time, and B, because it was at Marion. And I live...
Not there.
In the complete opposite direction.
Yeah.
So
the moon.
Yeah, pretty much. But I did get a chance to check it out the other day, and... I love a marketing campaign because they obviously sat down, they thought hard, like this is a film, it's got Jeffrey Dean Morgan in it, Negan from Walking Dead, and he is this shitty journalist who goes to this town and basically... He doesn't have a moustache in this, actually.
Unacceptable.
I'm so sorry.
Was he the guy who played the comedian in Watchmen?
Yes.
Oh, you're right.
Yes. And he goes to this town looking for a story. The story's obviously not there, but he steps on a thing, unleashes an evil being.
But what's the thing he steps on? Like a jellyfish?
It's like a totem. So
He just touches an item.
he picks up this item, he looks at it, and he's like, what is this? And he's like, oh, this is it's back in the witch times. They'd holds the spirits in, and he steps on it, thinking, well, there's your story, and he takes photos of it. A young girl in the town.
So he desecrates it.
He does. He destroys it, and it unleashes this evil being. And this young girl in the town who was mute. I think she was a mute or deaf. I can't remember. Anyway, she starts to speak, which she's never been able to do.
Oh, dear.
And she starts passing on all this information from this being that's been released. So it's basically like a false prophet kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
This movie was just awful. And I'm not
Man,
talking...
if you didn't like it, it must be a fucking...
So they talked about like this being like one of the scariest films of the past many years, and like I love when films do that, because this film was terrible.
Was it scary?
No, nothing about this film was scary. The script was terrible. The acting was terrible. Dialogue was terrible. The CG was terrible. Everything. Like, I was watching this film, and even if a film is terrible, I power through, and I'm like, yeah, this is fine. This is bad, but it's fine. It made me mad. I'm like, this film is just awful. Like, who made this film?
As in shit.
It was shit.
As in an anal rip of a film.
It was. It was an anal fissure of a film, because at no point was I in any way, shape or form scared or unsettled or...
And there was no ideas that you thought were cool?
No. There was nothing in this that I was like, oh yeah, that was cool.
It's like a glass drink of water.
It was bad. I was not okay with it. So, yeah.
Don't say it. What was it called again?
It was called The Unholy.
Yeah. I know that one. It's got a lady in it. Mm-hmm. Unholy lady.
Yes. We've also both started watching Sweet Tooth.
Yeah, which isn't very horror-y.
No, I thought it was, but yeah, because you had mentioned Sweet Tooth, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'll give that a go. So I sat down to watch one episode last night, and I'm watching like 3 or 4.
Yeah, it's just a great work. It's just a well-made film. I mean, TV show.
Yeah.
It's one of those like bingey ones, you know, they all go up at once. It's based on a comic book series by Jeff Lemire, which as soon as it came out went out of print.
Yeah, of course it did.
Because everyone wanted it.
But then they'll re-release it, with the Netflix poster, which I fucking hate when they do
with
that.
little stickers on them, like the Invincible's got now an Amazon Prime show. Yeah, they do that all the time.
I hate it.
The show's really good. Like everything looks good. There are some bits that are a bit tacky, like the elephants in the first step.
I find that the graphics are a bit
every now and then, but it is a TV show, so it's not a film.
No. They still have money to put into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, these days they do. Yeah, when you look at like Falcon and Winter Soldier and stuff like that, which is basically like an 8-hour Marvel film.
Didn't watch it. That's fine.
Yeah, it's cool. Anyway.
Yeah, so like that was just fun. It was quite sad in places. I've been really enjoying it though, like even just sitting down to watch an episode and 4 episodes later.
No, I really like it.
Yeah, I definitely recommend checking that out. Now, I did 100% want to talk about this, Dan, because you have opinions, I have opinions, and a lot of our friends on the Facebooks also have opinions.
About what, Jen?
Well, it was announced that young Rob Zombie will be...
He's not young.
He's not young. He's close to 60. He will be doing a reboot of The Munsters.
Is it a film?
It is a film. So he has been talking about this for years. Now, if you out there are not familiar with The Munsters, it is a show about a family of friendly monsters and their misadventures. It ran for 2 seasons between 1964 and 1966.
It's like the Addams Family kind
Pretty
of.
much, yeah. It starred Fred Gwynne, Yvonne DiCarlo, and I found out recently that Liz is related to her, and I'm like, damn, you just got hotter. Al Lewis and Butch Patrick. And look, despite it being a very short-lived series, it is a huge cult classic, and it has...
I liked it better than the Addams Family.
Same, yeah.
It had the car.
It's got, yeah.
It was basically the hillbillies.
Pretty much.
For monsters. It was weird like that the whole time.
So yeah, it's got very strong themes of like acceptance and tolerance and all this kind of thing, because they have no idea why people around them don't like them. And it's because of the way they look. So an attempt to reboot this series was made in 2012 by Bryan Singer, and it was called Mockingbird Lane. It starred Jerry O'Connell, Portia de Rossi, and Eddie Izzard. It was not a success.
I've never even heard that.
I watched it and it was garbage. And
Were they like? Did they look like the people?
no,
It was
no,
just like
kind
a
of like
drama version.
it was.
Of like,
It was slightly modernized, and it was just like Jerry O'Connell being Jerry O'Connell, but with a couple of bolts in his neck. It didn't sit. It didn't have the same vibe to it.
I feel like I already know what this is going to be like, this Rob Zombie thing. It's just going to be another Rob Zombie film.
Well, here's the thing. So we've got this lovely 1960s good feeling, and then we've got Rob Zombie, who has made House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, 3 from Hell, 31, and he did the Halloween reboots.
31? I don't know what that is.
It was bad.
Okay.
So
Good.
I like some of his films, but a lot of them, and I am a huge fan of Rob Zombie, so of course I have a little bit of bias there. Some of them are not good.
And he always uses the same people in all his films. He put his wife in there?
So his wife, Sherry Moon Zombie, has already been cast as Lily Munster. Along, no other actors have been confirmed, but I have seen a few of his like go-to actors have been like teasing things on their social media.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like Rob Zombie can only make a film. Like I said before, like a really small period in time he's homaging, and he just makes all his films like that in that kind of like low budget grindhouse, exploitation-y kind of like film vibe. But he does that for everything, and it ends up just being like a film clip. It's like of that, like
So a lot of his earlier films, anyway, were I consider them to be like 2-hour-long music videos. Like House of a Thousand Corpses is basically just a
House of a Thousand Corpses is basically an hour movie if you take out all the shit in between everything as well.
Pretty much. I still like it.
I don't mind.
It's a lot.
I think it's his best film.
Yeah, I'd say so. Devil's Rejects was good.
Yeah, but that was just like...
What can you do? Where can you go? Look, just because you like your source material doesn't mean you have to do it. And I know Rob Zombie, I don't watch interviews or anything with him because I like him. I like his music. I like the content he produces. And I don't like to find out that people are assholes. And he is very much he's a little bit arrogant, and he's very actually. So and I know he 100% does not give a shit about what you or anyone thinks. He's going to make this movie. He's going to make this movie the way he wants it done. But now it comes to the point of how is it going to be made? Is he going to do a PG, family-friendly film set in the 60s? Is he going to modernize it? Is he going to make it an MAR-rated version? You know, don't fucking cast your wife in things. Like, I get that she's your muse, and kudos to you for having a relationship that is this solid for so many years.
Wow, you're in a relationship. Good on you.
Just don't, because she's got her own talents in her own ways, but she's not a leading lady for a film like this. You are going to want a big budget Hollywood version of this, and I just don't think it's gonna.
Do it.
No, I'm not confident. But I'm still going to watch it. And
let's just leave it.
That's
We'll have to work it out. We'll give it a go, though. We'll give it a red hot poke in the old and then.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I love it.
So okay. I've been reading, comic-wise, I've been reading a horror comic recently called The Department of Truth, and this is written by James Tinian the Fourth. This dude's fucking range of writing is chronic. Yep. He's done another horror one recently called Something is Killing the Children.
Oh, yeah. That's a movie.
Is it?
I think they've turned it into a movie.
Yeah, right. So both horror comics. He's also done something called Wind, which is like a YA like fantasy. He's also done a whole run of Batman comics like Joker War and some other one. Maybe Batman's Grave or something like that. I can't remember. A whole bunch. So he's like this. And every book he writes doesn't feel like the writer that you read before. So but it's always a good version of that. So he did like Something for Killing the Children, which is this really indulgent, fast-moving, very small amount of characters, small idea, little town, and like monsters are killing people. This girl comes into town, a nomad young teen, and she's like a monster killer. It's pretty simple.
Sure.
Then he put out Department of Truth. And he's I forgot the artist's name, but this dude, if you can imagine like Dave McKean, which is like he did like Arkham Asylum and stuff like that. It's like Dave McKean's art, but a bit more structured than Dave McKean's art, so a bit easier to follow, not as fucking collagey and shit.
Martin Simmons.
Martin Simmons?
Yep.
And this lends itself, this style, to horror so well. It is like fucking, oh man, it's like, you know, it's scratchy, watercolory, oil painty, like it just looks great. And the story of Department of Truth is this guy, he is a conspiracy theorist writer. Like he studies them. He's like, you know, he's a debunker.
Yep.
Because it's not hard to debunk a conspiracy theory because it's not even fucking real. Sorry if you think it is. He debunks these things and he gets invited to this thing, on this plane where they're like, we're going to, you know, all these people get on there. He doesn't even know why he's there. Mm-hmm. They fly and all of a sudden they land and it's the end of the dome. They're at the dome as in like the flat earth theory and it's proof. And it's 100% proof. And then they just let them go. And he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? Anyway, another bunch of people like then kind of grab him some goodies and they go, you're going to work for us. We're called the Department of Truth. And basically in this world, which is our world, the more people that believe in a belief, an idea, the more it manifests itself into reality. So conspiracy theories are the biggest threat to the Department of Truth. They want to maintain the true truth line.
Yeah.
Which they decide.
Yeah, okay.
So that's where, and as like more people believe in these things, proof starts to manifest itself into reality. So hard drives appear with videos on them that come out of nowhere and stuff like that. So he goes into this, and he was himself was a kid that went through the 1970s, is it Satanic Panic?
Yes.
So what makes this book amazing is all the conspiracies they talk about are ones that have happened or are currently happening. So as you're going through it, you don't know where fiction and non-fiction starts and ends. And it's really cool. And you're just like, oh, this is fucking cool. And it goes through and it shows you each chapter kind of thing of how someone could believe into these different conspiracy theories, like the ones that are happening at the moment with the school shootings, that school shootings don't exist. That's a conspiracy theory. They're all made up by the media.
Okay.
That's one of the things. So, and it's how a mother whose kid died in a school shooting could possibly come to the conclusion that her son is still alive and it's all a cover-up. And it's just like, fuck. It's so heavy, so dense, and such a good read. And of course, this guy who went through the Satanic Panic, as we know, it was a bunch of school kids that like got brainwashed into thinking that their teachers were eating them and had all these cults. And so there was this demon that was like leading them all, and it was like this whole thing. The main character realizes that was true for a moment. It was happening because enough people believed it.
Oh.
And so there's this entity out there. He knows that this thing that's haunted him his whole life, he's been through therapy, it did exist at some time because of the belief structure of the world. And he's... Oh, fuck, it's
so good. Well, I've actually...
and they have to so they don't have computers or anything because it's two things. So they have to their databases is like giant warehouses with photos with all like the strings attached to them and stuff. And that holds the truth into reality of the physical holding it, like you know those walls where the things, those are the things that maintain truth.
Wow.
Because like that holds it into reality, and and then they go out and they kill anyone who believes anything and get rid of all evidence.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Do you need a water?
Yeah,
You need a drink?
I do.
You do. Yeah, well, I haven't read it yet, but based on your recommendation, I did pick it up.
And that's not spoiling much of it. That's like the first couple of like issues within it, like kind of thing.
Well, I've put it on the pile.
So on the shame pile?
Yeah, on my pile of shame. It is definitely something that I do want to check into because you had me at conspiracy theory, you had me at Satanic Panic, like you've got me at entities, like it just sounds like a lot of fun to me.
Yeah, no one I've recommended it to has turned it down, and no one has said at work, and no one has said that they didn't like it.
Okay, well I definitely
coming to my work. It's printed by Image Comics, and the first issue is $17.58. which is very cheap.
That's pretty good for a trade.
Graphic novel, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I've picked up The Conjuring. So DC are bringing out a series of horror comics because obviously DC, Warner Brothers, so they want to do a bunch of tie-in movies, tie-in comics to certain things. And they've just done The Conjuring, so it's going to be a 5-part series. The first volume has just recently come out. I haven't read it yet because I'm a busy person. It just goes in the pile.
Oh, my cat's coming here. It's going to jump up and ruin everything.
Hey, Cuddly.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. So, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to checking that out when I get a chance. Hopefully maybe today, and then I can talk about it next week. So, yeah, it's interesting to see what DC are doing now with their horror range because they used to be really good at bringing out a lot of different horror content. And it just sort of went by the wayside. Like, there was a period where they just sort of stopped, and I think they just focused and maintained on the superhero side of things. So I'm not sure if you're too familiar with
DC's did a lot of their horror stuff through Vertigo.
Yeah.
And Constantine and all stuff like that. But yeah.
Now they've got the DC horror line.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the DC's done a lot of stuff recently. They weren't for their Black Label stuff. They went for a whole imprint called what was it called? Young something?
I don't know.
I've lost it now. Which was what's his name? Gerard Way's imprint into DC.
Yep.
Young. Oh, I nearly remembered then. Anyway, and they just stopped it. You know what I mean? Just like if stuff doesn't make multi-millions, they just stop shit. So
yeah. Well, I mean, the next step. I mean, because we know that the Conjuring.
Young Animal.
Oh, Young Animal.
Yep. It was cool.
I mean, the Conjuring franchise. It's the universe has spanned like 7 or 8 movies now, and it's got money to make. And the next step, obviously, the next logical step is to turn it into a comic series. So I'm pretty excited to give it a read. It ties in with the Conjuring, the latest movie.
Yeah.
I won't go too deeply into that because it is still a new movie and I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. But yeah, like I look forward to hopefully next episode going, oh, hey, yeah, I did read it and it was pretty darn good.
I reckon we're going to have to cut it off there.
Yeah.
The old podcast. We're nearly getting near the end. We've got some other sections that we'll just move over to next week.
Yeah, I love that.
Next time.
Yeah. Fantastic. So yeah, that's our new episode, guys. Splatter Chatter. So thank you. You've been listening to TerrorVision Horror Podcast with Dan and Jennifer. We are available on all major podcasting services and also on the YouTube. But no matter where you choose to consume us, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment or a review. Make sure you share with all your friends. You can interact with us on both Facebook and Instagram at TerrorVision Pod. It'll keep you up to date with upcoming episodes, trivia, and of course memes that are 100% 3 years old by now. We also have an email, terrorvisionpod@gmail.com.
Oh no, I have to say my line. Oh, and until next week, kill or be killed.